Welcome back, everybody. Well, it's game time, baby. We're getting ready to see some wood fly. These guys been going for about an hour and a half, and they pretty well done got the two exterior walls laid out and put nailed together. You know, I come up with a lot of harebrained ideas on building stuff, thinking, well, heck, there's no need for me to hire anybody. I'll do it myself. This is one project I never considered. Not enough manpower with old Travis alone. These boys are getting after it. In the last video, we was getting everything ready for these guys to come, but went around the whole perimeter and put this hay down, and I ended up spreading some gravel around this end of the garage and then the back side. But they've been on and off this slab, loading all this lumber on here, and we're able to keep most of this mud off of here. So anyway, the old hay's worked up pretty well. Now we'll use treated wood for a sole plate, which will be down against the concrete, and then we've got this foam material down there on the bottom side. I don't know the specific name for it, but it'll essentially act as a gasket in between the wood and the concrete in order to seal it up pretty tight. These garage walls are a little bit of a challenge because they're so tall. They're wanting to slide off the slab on them, so they're just putting them some stops out here on the edge of the slab, keep it from sliding off when they pick them up. I'm sure they'll be glad to have these garage walls done. Well, it's 2 o'clock and we've got all the exterior walls of the house stood up. They're starting to lay out their interior walls. And they are working on framing the end walls here for the garage. We'll have one 12 by 12 door here. And then we'll have 2 12 by 12 doors on this end. So they're working on getting that put together, and we'll see those go up today. My anchors around the walls, instead of putting all thread in and putting my anchor bolts in with concrete, we're using these 6-inch Simpson heavy-duty screw anchors. So we'll put those every 4 feet in order to keep this thing from blowing away. Well, after one day, here's where we stand. Pretty well got the garage framed up. All they're blocking in. They've started putting a zip board on the back wall. This will be a breezeway in between the garage and the house, which they'll frame these walls in today. Which we'll have a door going out this side and a door going out this side. I'm going to do this a little bit differently. They'll go ahead and frame a 9-foot wall here, but what I'm going to do is essentially drop the ceiling down in here probably to an 8-foot ceiling, because what I'm going to do is we'll stick build the roof on this breezeway, and then I'll floor this, but my air handlers for my heat and air system will sit above this breezeway, and then my ductwork can run straight through the house, and then we can branch off. And then my compressing unit will sit right outside this wall, so we can plumb in this wall, carry the refrigerant line straight up. I'll have a short run on my refrigeration lines, and it'll be a straight shot from my ductwork. And then where this roof line ties in the garage, I'll frame in a hole here with a door. That way anytime you don't get in the attic, you can go straight in this door, come straight through the breezeway, access your heat and air unit, and then straight into the house. As for the interior, they've pretty well got most of the walls up in here. All they like standing this main wall up. That'll divide the living room from the bedrooms. And then they've got to add a wall back here to frame in those bathrooms, and then they'll have just a couple more walls out of here, and they'll pretty well have the interior done. Well, one thing about it, these boys don't let any grass grow under their feet. I'd say by the end of today, we'll have wall sheathing around this place, and then we'll just be waiting on our trusses to get done.
Now I use the zip system for my sheathing. It's got that waterproof barrier basically built into the exterior of it, but on all of your seams they've got the zip system tape, and this stuff it's pretty good stuff. But you can seal all your seams in your sheathing, basically just stop that wind from coming through. But in the window sills where you've got potential, you know, for water to get in, they have the liquid treatment, if you want to call it liquid flashing, but this is their sausage gun, but it comes out basically like caulk. But in all my corners of my window sills, I'm going to use that liquid system to where I ensure that I get all this sealed, because it's hard to get this stuff to bend around the corner. They make I think a stretchy tape that you can bend through your corners, but I'm going to use the liquid system here. I'll come back with my zip tape after this sets up, come back, overlap it, and then that way I've got it pretty well covered. I've only got 2-3 windows that's actually going to be exposed to the elements. All the rest of my windows are under the porch, but for safe measures, I'm going to go ahead and do them all the same, and we'll get them taped up, sealed up, and that way if any water does get in behind my, you know, exterior tape and trim and windows, then I've got some protection in here to keep from water sitting in here and rotting me out later on down the road. I'm pretty pleased with the way my slab turned out in relation to my sheathing. I mean, we might be a place or two where it's out maybe an 1/8 or a 1/4, but for the most part we're pretty flush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this zip tape, and then we're going to go in here and seal this joint between the sheathing and the concrete, in which the concrete's good and slick, so this stuff sticks to it well. If it was a rougher surface, I would use that liquid flashing and to seal this. But what I'm wanting to prevent, one, it's an air barrier that would keep air from going through, but two, mostly would be moisture. That way any moisture that gets here, it can't penetrate and go back in. Now in the case where we're standing now, this will all be a covered porch, so we'll have fall going away from it, and so we shouldn't ever have any problem with moisture getting back here, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. All right, I've got the professional zip tape installer there with me now. Hey, 4 hands are better than 2, especially doing this. We're going to try to get this thing sealed off around the bottom. Right, this stuff you're supposed to roll it on so you get good adhesion, but I don't have a roller, and where this, you know, the sheathing meets the concrete, it ain't perfectly level in all places, so we're just taking our hands and going through there and making sure we got it seated good. But we're gonna work around and get this baby sealed off. Well, after one full day and about 3/4 of a second day, I've got a house framed up with the interior walls ready, and then we got a garage framed up back here as well. These guys come in here, they told me they'd be here Monday. They showed up Monday, and buddy, they went to work, so you can't ask for much more than that. But they're waiting on me now. We're waiting on trusses. Trusses is supposed to be here next Wednesday, so when we get some trusses in here, we'll
get these guys scheduled back in here, get it put on, and then put a roof deck on it, and we'll be ready to put some metal on the top. But I'll take you over here in the garage and we'll walk through it real quick. Well, there's not much to see in here. It's 4 16-foot tall walls with 3 big holes in it. This is the garage. It's hard to tell about a floor plan when it's just the studs up. So I had somebody actually comment the other day and said they'd like to see an overhead shot of it so they could get a better idea of the floor plan. So I'll take the drone up and we'll fly over it, and that way you can sort of see the floor plan. But that's how we'll end this one up. But the next time you see me on this house, hopefully we'll see some roof trusses flying and we can move on to the next step. But hey, if you watch this one, I appreciate it, and we'll catch you on another one.